Good afternoon, everybody. It is meteorologist A12 Forecast here, and welcome back to the video, guys. If you guys didn't get the new video, check that out because I'm gonna some news you need to know about me going back to school, guys. So if you guys haven't checked that out, go ahead and check that out really quick. But guys, as you can tell, we're gonna be doing another update on the severe weather because it is gonna get a whole lot worse for a lot of areas, guys. And a lot of you guys are talking about thunderstorms. The Ninja, the weather kid guy in Philadelphia, who's talking about severe weather, and then Carter Kelso was talking about severe weather in Florida. And I was actually planning to do this, guys. And also be sure to check out my live stream, another fall and winter discussion at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So if you guys still have questions or couldn't make it to the last stream, be sure to join the stream. Even if you don't even have to join for a whole long time, you just ask your question and I answer it, and then if that's all your question, you can go ahead and leave the stream. That's how fast it is. But yeah, guys, if you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. We need 10 more subscribers till 1,400. We're getting a lot more closer. We needed 14 more at the morning. Now we're at 10. So if you're new or you have any friends or family that like weather, be sure to share the channel to them. But if you guys want to know if you get severe weather or get affected, and the timing, that'll come right up. So guys, as you can tell, we are going to be looking at the National Weather Service to see exactly if you guys have any active alerts. And if you didn't know if you have active alerts, now's the time to find out. And I'm going to be going over all of them. So guys, as you can tell, we are going to have a lot of severe weather threats and a lot of active advisories. So we actually do have the light orange for parts of northern Ohio and for parts of Pennsylvania. We do have severe thunderstorm warnings, so that's actually where we're going to actually have very, very strong storms. I wouldn't be surprised if we have some more severe thunderstorm warnings start to come in through here. And I wouldn't be surprised if we have more out here for southern Florida, because we're gonna have multiple areas that can have severe weather, multiple regions, with multiple threats. So again, we do have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect here. We actually have a couple in New York, upper New York, and we also do have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for St. Louis. So if you're in St. Louis, you do have severe thunderstorm warnings, and also so we have severe thunderstorm watches in effect for these areas for southern Indiana, Illinois, and parts of Kentucky there. And then we do have flash flood watches in effect for the parts of New Mexico, and we do have heat advisories spreading. And if you guys want to know about this, the heat or the cold air, check out my first video today. And we do have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for off the coast of Florida. Again, we're going to have multiple areas that could have severe weather. Now we're going to be looking at the radar, but a paused version for the Ohio Valley for the people who want to know the conditions they are seeing now. We are going to have, again, these outer bands behind this big one for parts of Illinois, Ohio, and parts of Evansville, Indiana. And again, we are going to have all this humidity start to, again, bring in some more scatter bands. That's what usually happens a lot in the summer, where we have scatter bands start to form because of the heat. We will have some rain bands start to affect Toledo, Ohio, all the way to Erie, Pennsylvania. Cleveland will have some thunders and some lightning strikes there. We will have some more bands out here heading toward the way of Cleveland. So if you're in Cleveland, you could see some. You're going to see some very dark clouds right now. It's going to be heading your way. And if you live in Buffalo, New York, or Erie, Pennsylvania, you are experiencing some very strong storms right now. So again, that's what we're looking at there. And now we're going to be looking at the Storm Prediction Center, guys, because, again, we're going to be focusing on today right now, because today has gotten a lot worse. Again, if you guys looked at yesterday, it only showed a slight chance, but now it has increased to an enhanced risk. And we have two areas now for a marginal and a slight. We have parts of the Ohio Valley, and then we have the northern plains now. So in total, we have a population of 31 million people on the marginal. So if you're in the dark green, you are in the marginal risk, which isn't incredibly bad, but you still have somewhat a risk for severe weather. But there's not a huge threat for hail or tornadoes. So if you are in the cities in the marginal risk are Detroit, Indianapolis, Columbus, Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio, and Omaha, Nebraska. So those are only some of the cities there. We have a lot more cities like Fargo. And then we also do have a slight chance here for some areas for the Illinois area and Indiana, and for the Central Plains. So the areas in the slight chance, we actually only have about 2 million people. So we have Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Evansville, Indiana, Sioux City, Iowa, and Owensboro, Kentucky, and Henderson, Kentucky. So again, most of western Kentucky there will be experiencing a slight chance there. And now for the areas that could expect the worst severe weather today. So for the areas I can expect the worst severe today are in the enhanced risk. So it is level 3 of severe weather. So if you're in the enhanced risk, that means you have the biggest threat for tornadoes, hail, and damaging winds today. Sorry guys, it just has to refresh. So the area, we have a population of only 209,000 people there, because there's only farmlands there, not a whole big cities there. We have Aberdeen, South Dakota, Mitchell, South Dakota there, and we have Yankton, South Dakota, Huron, South Dakota, Madison, South Dakota. I apologize if I pronounced some cities wrong. Never heard of these type of cities here, so I do apologize. Now the tornado threat is not incredibly high again. So the areas that are in the enhanced risk again had the highest threat today. That's only 2% chance again. That could go a bit higher. The wind threat has gone a lot higher though. We do again have a 15% chance for Evansville, Indiana, and for parts of Sioux Falls, Iowa there, and for parts of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and Owensboro, Kentucky. And then the area that could have the biggest chance for hail again is for parts hold on guys, sorry, this is actually for winds, not hail. So again, the areas that can have the biggest damaging wind again is in the enhanced risk. So for parts of Aberdeen and Huron and yeah, those areas in South Dakota can all have a 30% chance for some damaging winds. And then again, the highest chance is a 15% chance for these areas in the Dakotas and upper Nebraska. So Aberdeen, Watertown, Brookings, Mitchell, and Pierre or Pure, South Dakota there. So those are all threats for today. Tomorrow we actually have a bigger threat though for severe weather for the bigger cities. So we have a marginal risk for many areas of the plains and a marginal risk for the upper East Coast. So we'll have a lot of people there. 63 million people in effect for marginal tomorrow. So again, it's going to be the big cities there. If we have New York City, we have Charlotte, North Carolina, Milwaukee, we have Boston and Kansas City, and then the slight chance even has even the bigger cities out there, some very big cities, and a slight chance even for both regions. We actually have Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., Virginia Beach, and Norfolk, and we also have Green Bay and Madison, Wisconsin there. And for yeah, that's basically all we're seeing there tomorrow. Now we're going to be looking at the radar very quickly for these three regions. So again, we will be having extremely strong bands out there for Ohio Valley, and for parts of the Ozarks there, we'll have incredibly strong bands moving towards the northeast coast. But again, we will be having those strong bands though for Nebraska, moving through parts of the central part of Nebraska, through South Dakota. Again, it goes through South Dakota, bringing some very strong bands. And then as that moves on, we should have the clear for, it will go through Topeka, Kansas there, but a little weaker. And then tomorrow, that's where we had a slight chance for parts of Green Bay, Wisconsin. And these storms will be heading towards the southeast, potentially affecting parts of Chicago, possibly, and maybe Milwaukee. But as it does evaporate, and then tomorrow again, we have those widespread threats for marginal for the Central Plains. We have many areas, including Kansas City, parts of Dodge City, and parts of South Dakota that could experience some very strong storms tomorrow. And by the 8th of August, so very early on the 8th of August, we could have very, very strong bands out there for the southern Kansas area. So we could have those strong bands for the Central Plains again. And then again, we're just going to have these scatter bands through parts of the area. Now to be focusing on the northeast too. We will have multiple bands heading towards the northeast. Again, this is usually what you see in the northeast, scatter bands that come towards the east. We'll have parts of Allentown, Pennsylvania. There we have Ohio, and then the bands will evaporate very quickly. And for tomorrow, the clear is for tomorrow. But again, as we go on the 8th of August, we'll have some more multiple bands with this low pressure system at 1,002 millibars that could bring in actually some very, very strong bands on the 8th of August. Incredibly strong bands out there for Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Norfolk, North Carolina, and for many areas in the northeast. So again, we'll have multiple bands heading towards the east coast there that can bring in some widespread threats. And then we'll have some more rain showers to the 9th of August. And then the last radar we're going to be looking at is the southeast, because for those people that are in Florida, I know I have like 3 or 4 viewers from Florida. We'll experience some very strong storms for the western coast of Florida, and also possibly some strong bands out there off the Gulf Coast of Houston, Texas there. As we go on later into today, we could have more storms heading towards the east coast now of Florida. So for Fort Lauderdale and Miami could all have some strong bands later tonight. So just be careful. We could have some severe thunderstorm warnings there in effect for Miami. And then as we go into tomorrow should be the clear though. We will have again some rain showers up there for Florida because it is again very subtropical. We have a lot of subtropical there, and we have a high pressure system there. And then as we go to the 8th of August now, or sorry, the 7th of August. Sorry, I meant to 7th of August, which is tomorrow. We could have some bands heading towards the Appalachian Mountain areas through northern Georgia. And then some more severe weather again for the coast of North Carolina again, guys. That's where we have that slight chance there. And then that will go into the southern coast. And then look at this huge threat we have for the 8th of August, guys. 8th of August will bring in some very strong threats there for the 8th of August. Stay tuned for the next severe weather outlook because of that. And then that should bring in some heavy rain out there for parts of the South Central. And yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this short video on severe weather. It was just a severe weather outlook for those people who are wondering about it. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and see you guys at 6 p.m. on my live stream.